are facing, as a society, a shortage. I call it the mass extinction of fossil resources. We're facing a tremendous shortage of water, of fertile cropland. 1/3 of our cropland has been abandoned in the last 30 years because we've abused it. We're facing, obviously, peak oil. And the cost of oil is going, and gasoline is going to go way, way up. And we're facing a mass extinction of our agricultural chemicals, specifically fertilizers. And you'll hear at ASU we're going to be doing a big event on phosphorus. According to my calculations, we're going to be out of phosphorus is going to be unaffordable in 20 years. In 30 years, we'll be out. And phosphorus is the most important element for all living things. If you Google algae, you'll get 9 out of 10 hits will be on how to kill the sucker, how to get it out of our waterways, our aquariums, our ponds and pools. Well, that's good because that's what a lot of people are focused on. But of course, our orientation is, gee, if something grows that abundantly, why not cultivate it? Arizona potentially is the green solar capital of the world, because we have just what it takes here in Arizona to have a very vibrant industry. What are we going to do for water, though? Anybody know what we're going to do for water? Wastewater will get us part way there, but if we grow tens of thousands of basically square miles of algae production, we're going to need more water than waste. We don't have enough wastewater. I'm going to give you a number. Half of the water stored on our planet is brine water. So what's brine water? Salty water in the ground, obviously, laid there at ancient oceans, too salty to eat, drink, and use as irrigation, but algae love it. And we have oceans of brine water under our Arizona deserts.
So what's the value of algae as a fuel source? Well, we said they're producers. Every cell is a producer. Well, one reason is that as we've looked back into geologic history and we look at petroleum, scientists believe that the algae were the source of the original petroleum. It took a long time for it to accumulate and to change from the material that was in the cells to what we mine today out of the ground as petroleum. So if they're the original source of petroleum, why don't we use them real time? Why don't we use them real time? And make it, in a sense, a living process rather than one that's taken hundreds of millions of years to produce and accumulate on the earth. And so part of the philosophy or approach to using algae is to use things that we want to get rid of already. We want to get rid of the CO2, or we want to tie it up or capture it. In the case of the algae, we're capturing it in the biomass, and it's taken out of the atmosphere, and it's only put back in when we use the algae. So it's a recycling of the carbon dioxide. Now we're taking it out of the ground and we're putting it into the atmosphere. And it's not being recycled at a rate that obviously deals with our greenhouse problem in terms of CO2. So that's another value of the algae relative to the environment. So the algae are capable of not only producing fuel, but also cleaning up the air and the water, improving the quality of the air and the water. And in a nutshell, the value of the algae in terms of biofuels is that they have high growth potential, they have high yield potential in terms of the oil. They can utilize air and water that we would not use for something else. That's a plus in terms of bioremediation. They also, when we produce the biomass that we're talking about, that biomass beside the oil has value. For example, the biomass has, again, carbohydrates that you can ferment ethanol, or protein that you can use as an animal feed, and so on. So all of the parts of the cell that produce the oil are valuable to us.
We've all heard about the great potential around biodiesel, but we're interested in finding out why haven't we gotten farther along with actualizing that potential. And the goal is to not only understand how it works, because it doesn't always make sense, but to hopefully shape the process so that we can align the outcomes better with our societal goals and needs and avoid the bad things that Dr. Edwards is talking about. It's very difficult to get accurate, unbiased data, and of course the process is unfolding in real time. It's not a static, established technology. So it's very hard to regulate emerging technologies.